you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
I know we've been mostly waiting on me to kind of get everything together. So if you guys are all ready to go, I think we can call the meeting to order.
All right, so I'm now going to call to order this regular meeting of the Jersey City Historic Preservation Commission. It's March 11th, 2024, about 6:35 p.m.
Okay. Please be advised that in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice, time, date, and place of this regularly scheduled meeting of the Jersey City Historic Preservation Commission has been sent to the Jersey Journal, the Jersey City Reporter, and Ellis Basilito on Thursday, March 7th. Same notice has been sent to the city clerk for posting on the bulletin board outside of the clerk's office in City Hall and on the Jersey City website. I have proof of this notice here in evidence that we can mark as B1.
Okay, this will be B1 in evidence for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a roll call of commissioners. Commissioner Amatuzzo?
Here.
Commissioner Garriga is absent. Commissioner Sandkamp?
Here.
Commissioner Gunther is absent. Commissioner Lewis?
Here.
Commissioner Sakong is absent. Commissioner Blazak?
Present.
Commissioner Cronin?
Present.
Vice Chair Gucciardo is absent. And Chairman Gordon?
Present.
Okay, there are 6 members of the commission in attendance tonight. 5 affirmative votes are needed for a certificate of appropriateness. Next item is the minutes from February 5th. Does anyone have any questions, comments, changes, corrections? Okay, hearing none, staff's recommendation is to approve the minutes from February 5th.
A motion. Second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Commissioner Amatuzzo?
Aye.
Commissioner Sandkamp?
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Commissioner Blazak?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Garriga is absent. Commissioner Gunther is absent. Commissioner Sakong is absent. Vice Chair Gucciardo is absent. Chairman Gordon.
Aye.
All right, there are 6 votes in favor, none against. The minutes from February 5th are approved. For correspondence, all application materials are copied on tonight's agenda through the links on the agenda. For announcements, we do actually have an announcement. Everyone to my right, this is Michael. He recently joined our office. We are very happy to have him. And that brings us to open public comment. If there are any members of the public in attendance tonight who would like to speak regarding matters of historic preservation that are not on tonight's agenda, you can approach the public comment mic. Staff sees no members of the public present and would recommend a motion to open and close public comment.
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have no old business on tonight's agenda, so Chairman Gordon, if you would call the first case in new business, please.
I'll call case H23-123. The applicant is Brandon Smith, architect, on behalf of Jazzbeer and Tarleton Baines Living Trust, owner. The address is 147 Grand Street in the Paulus Hook Historic District. And this application is for a certificate of appropriateness for the interior renovation, front facade window installation, and construction of a 3-story rear addition at an altered contributing Italianate townhouse constructed circa 1865.
Would you raise your right hand and be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you could state and spell your full name for the record.
It's Brandon Smith, BRANDONSMITH.
While Brandon sets up, I will note for the record that Mr. Smith has previously been qualified as an expert in the field of architecture in front of this board before. Okay, just pull you up on the screen. Okay, we should be good to go.
Okay. All right. So this is the property in question, 147 Grand. Picture from the exterior. This is the historic 1938. And then this is it from the rear where we're doing the 3-story addition. So the top floor, this cornice will stay intact. And that was based on the guidance from staff and from the neighborhood. I'm not sure, like, I haven't done this for you guys to this level for approval. So let me know, like, how you want me to proceed to walk you all the way through the design, plans, elevations. This is the view that was referenced from Van Voorst Street. So you can only see just a small little bit over the top of the garage area for that. And then this would be the sightline drawings showing that. So currently it's a 3-family that's being converted into a 2-family. The addition on the rear, we're trying as much as possible to maintain the current courtyard. There's a tree that's there that we're trying to work around and maintain as best we can. So for that, the addition, we're not going beyond our 30-foot rear yard setback, so no variance is needed for that. So to take you through proposed basement level plan for 1 unit, 3-bedroom, and then living areas up on the parlor first floor level. Then moving further up on the 2nd floor is where the 2nd unit is. Living, dining, kitchen at the rear with a small deck where it steps back, and then up to the 3rd floor where we're not extending any further back or doing the addition. So there's a roof deck that's above the addition. Again, the existing drawings on the left, the proposed on the right, and trying to work with what we can tell best from the 1938 building, but also there's a building that was just recently redone at 137 Grand, I believe. I'll get to it in a second. That we like the look of the windows that were placed for it. So we're working with that since it's only just a few doors down. Color swatches. And then the rear addition here. Again, trying to fit with the neighborhood and the language for it. The light for the rear. And then this is it in context. The rear sections and railing details for the rear terrace, and then riser diagrams and electrical.
And then what, riser diagrams?
Yes, sorry. These are riser diagrams, and then our electrical plans, and then this is the building I was referencing. That's at. Let me double check the date. 139 Grand is this building that we're referencing. Okay.
Do any commissioners have any questions?
Can you go back to the full block plan? I just wanted to see then.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, you just kind of click through it quickly, so I didn't have a chance to really see it. But there are other additions.
Yes.
Back there, other larger additions is what I can see.
Correct. Yeah. So this is ours in this location, and you can see almost every building along Grand has had some kind of addition on the rear.
And you were saying that you wouldn't see it because of the garage. You can only see the top floor.
You can only see just a portion. Let me go back to
and maybe this portion.
Yeah. And again, that picture was also taken in the winter. Where is my picture? Yes, you can see we're this red brick building here. So we're not going to the 3rd. Yeah, so you would see just that one floor, same level as the adjacent one.
Okay. The only other question I had is about the windows on the front facade. Yeah, I was going to ask to look at the tax photo, exactly. I still think it's kind of an odd condition. And maybe Maggie knows more about the windows if they were approved at 139 or whatever. It just seems odd to have a 1/1 window at a parlor floor when you have multi-light windows above. but perhaps Maggie, I don't know if you did any research into that or know more about the condition down the block.
Staff did approve the windows at 139. The tax card does show 1/1 with the 4/4 above, but there was no real, in the cone. It didn't elaborate on if they thought that was the historic condition or not. In this particular case, the 1938, didn't we have another 1938 photo? Or was there?
This is the one that I got from you.
Okay. No, then that's the one we have.
So,
Maybe I'm
now
thinking
look at this
something
one's
different.
maybe a little,
Yeah.
a little bit more clear, I guess.
Right. So in my opinion, the historic condition for this probably would have been if you're pulling the sills down to the water table, it was probably going to be a 4/6. A 1/1 is not necessarily inappropriate, but the applicant was interested in pursuing the 1/1 option. I think the historic condition would have been a 4/6. Based on the style of the building and the date of construction, that 1/1 size pane of glass would have been very difficult and very, 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 very expensive to come by at that time.
Also show you just a couple more. All right, so this was 139 Grand down the street. We also took pictures at 141. Again, they have, the single 1/1 at the parlor level. I'm aware they don't have the 4/4 above. And also at 143 Grand. So our thought was, at least at the parlor level, create the same street language along Grand Street there, since they're just about all the neighbors are a 1/1 at the parlor level.
Okay, and the only other thing I wanted to ask too, because I noticed this. You were showing the view from over the garage and what might or might not be visible. I thought you maybe had pointed to the red building before, but
Sorry,
then
yeah,
it's the one to the left of the red building.
left of the red building, correct.
So, my thought is I think the windows should be consistent, like either they should all be 1/1s on all floors, or they should all be multi-light. That's just kind of my thought, but I don't know if anyone has any other opinions on it.
I agree with you, Brian. The mixed window pattern certainly would not have been the way the building was constructed.
Okay. In that case, we'd probably prefer all of them to be the multi-lights.
Yeah.
We can add a condition that they would just change the bottom windows to multi-lights. And again, based on my professional knowledge, I think it would be a 4/6 based on the size of the window. 4 on the top, 6 on the bottom to accommodate the extra length. So we can add a condition to any approval that would recommend that they change it to that. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Can you show the rear elevation again? I just want to see the windows there.
Is this the proposed? I'll zoom in so it shows up a little better.
And that third level is going to be visible from the public right-of-way?
Correct. Yes. But again, it's just from Van Voorst and over the top of a garage, one-story garage.
Have you thought about removing the stucco at the top floor? Maybe letting removing that stucco, maybe seeing what the brick condition is underneath, and maybe it would be a little more harmonious with the rest of the facade below if you're going to do brick below.
We could. I'm curious and concerned about the condition of the brick that we'd find behind there. If it was, if it was always stucco, then it may be a poor quality brick. But we haven't done any deep exploration.
Haven't done any probes, but
Right.
that could help maybe a little bit with the facade, especially since it is going to be visible. And, can you go, I'm just curious about the view, and I think maybe it does matter, because I'm just looking on Street View, when I'm looking at the block plan, it looks like it's further in from that large addition there, but it's hard to, I'm just curious how visible this actually is or isn't going to be.
Yeah, I mean, let me go based off of.
Because in this photo, you don't
Yeah.
see any of those red buildings.
Yeah,
there.
look for the chimneys, because I believe, we're the only ones that still have old chimneys there.
So I think it's actually less visible than even you were kind of
Yeah.
thinking. In which case, I probably wouldn't push for you to remove stucco from the top
Yeah.
floor. And everything else does look stuccoed on that block, so
Yeah, I think.
maybe get.
Sorry, yeah,
maybe
you can
more
see it
view
from this
there. Yeah.
from this view, the two chimneys of it. So it's the white one next to the cream. Yeah, so it's actually not visible at all, really.
Oh.
I'm not sure what that building blocking there is. Correct.
Any other questions, comments?
I was going to just say on the windows, I could agree that it's probably true that the original condition was the 4/4 or 4/6 at the parlor. I think the reason why previous applicants who are near our neighbors have conflicting windows is because they were going to the 38 photograph, which we've allowed in the past. I'm going to say that the applicant might want to know that that's why there's a conflict there. But I
Okay.
think the preferable condition is that they all come from the same period, which would mean that, like I think my fellow commissioners have all said, that the windows would probably be the same type of mullions.
Fully understood.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. We have any other comments, questions? All right. Does that conclude your testimony?
That does.
Anything else you want to add? Okay.
No, that's-
All right. That means we can move to open public comment. If there are any members of the public present who would like to speak regarding this application, please approach the public comment mic. Staff sees no members of the public present and would recommend a motion to open and close public comment.
Motion to open and close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to staff comments. I do not have access to the staff laptop, so I can't put my staff report up on the screen, but you guys all have it on the tablets, and you received a
I have
copy of it
if
on
you need
Friday.
on screen.
It's all right. I'm just going to flip right to staff recommendations and comments. So we do believe that this proposal is consistent with Secretary of the Interior standards and with our historic design ordinance. Like we've gone through, every house on this block has an addition. Adding an addition of this size and scale is not inconsistent with the block. It is minimally visible, but again, many of the additions on this block are minimally and obliquely visible, and there is no adverse effect there right now, so this likely will not cause an adverse effect. We do recommend that you approve the certificate of appropriateness with our standard conditions as listed on the staff report, and with the condition, as mentioned during commissioner comments, to revise the parlor floor window to the presumed historic condition of 4/6. Are there any questions, comments, anything for staff? Any additional conditions you would recommend? Okay. If not, again, the recommendation from staff is to approve with conditions.
I'll make that motion with the conditions as laid out by staff.
And I'll second.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Sankamp,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Blazak,
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin,
Aye.
Commissioner Amatuzo,
Aye.
and Chairman Gordon.
Aye.
Okay, there are 6 votes in favor, none against, no abstentions. The COA with conditions is granted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll send you an email tomorrow with what we do next.
Next steps.
Yep.
Ready? Okay, so I will now call case H23-28. Applicant is Douglas Segolja, architect, on behalf of Donna Pepe, owner. The address is 647 Jersey Avenue in the Hamilton Park Historic District. This application is for a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a new roof deck, elevator, and replacement of front and rear entry doors at an altered vernacular Neo-Grec Italianate multifamily building constructed circa 1860.
Would you raise your right hand, please, sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you can please state and spell your full name for the record.
It's Douglas, Douglas, Segulja, Segulja.
Once you get all connected there, we'll just qualify you quickly.
Okay. Should be.
You might have to wiggle it a little bit.
Oh, you know what? The problem is. This has to go. Yeah. This will be okay, try that.
Wait for it to pop up.
Let's try this other port.
If you have an HDMI port, you can also just unplug the white thing.
It doesn't. It just
No.
says the USB-C. There it goes. I think that.
Okay. Yep, there we
Got
go.
it?
Beautiful. All right.
Excellent.
Because you've not presented in front of this board before, if you could just give us a very quick overview of your qualifications.
Sure. I'm a licensed architect. I'm licensed in New York. My partner who has signed the drawings, she is licensed in New Jersey.
Okay. And how many years have you been practicing architecture?
Approximately 10.
Okay. We can qualify him as an expert in the field of architecture if Chair accepts qualifications.
Yes, so accepted.
Great. Thanks. And you're welcome to start presenting.
Great. There's really 3 things that we were looking for approval this evening. And that is replacing the front and back entry doors, the addition of some lights, replacing some existing locations, as well as installing a roof deck on the top of 647 Jersey Avenue. So this is kind of an overview with a lot of the technical information, but to come in to kind of show you the site plan as well as the plot plan, how it fits in the block. Jersey Avenue is running kind of north-south in this plot plan. And then 7th Street, it's right on the corner lot there, you'll see is the long facade. So you see the stoop coming up from Jersey Avenue. There's a little bit of green space that wraps around all the way around the corner, and then you have the backyard there at the back along the left side of the page. And this is, to give you a little bit of context of the building itself, you have the existing south facade, which it sticks out just past the row of the other townhouses. The main entry facade there along Jersey Avenue, which is the short facade, the facade along 7th Street, and then the back, which you'll see the kind of rear entry there at the back, which we're proposing to change out. These are plans, so this is the roof plan. So you have on the far left, you've got the existing roof plan. There's a couple of skylights, a roof hatch. The middle plan is our proposal, which is the proposed roof deck, as well as stair and elevator bulkhead access there. The important thing to note here is that you'll see on the north side of the page would be Jersey Avenue, and then on the left side would be 7th Street. So those are the two main facades. You'll see the 10-foot setback that we're doing, limiting the size of the deck and the bulkhead there. And then the far right plan is the electric plan and shows the two lights up here that we're looking to add. This next plan is just a plan of the floor plan below. This is all open living, kitchen, dining. So the client is interested in having the roof deck, this outdoor space, which I think we all learned during COVID how nice it is to have that available to you. So that's really the hope here. These are existing facade elevations. It's really quite a stunning building there on the corner. So we kind of wanted to preserve that and honor that really. So in this next page, you'll see the addition at the top with the deck. It looks fairly visible here, but the reality is when you come to, well, sorry, let me step back. These are the two main elevations. So Jersey Ave and then 7th Street. These are the two other elevations, so the elevation from the back and then kind of peeking over from the south. As I was saying, it seems like it's fairly visible, and it is. On the corner, it's sort of hard to get away from the visibility at all, but from both 7th Street and Jersey Avenue, you'll see these sightline drawings show that the way we're both shaping that bulkhead and roof deck, as well as just setting it back, really limits your view, limits what you see of that. So this is this is from 7th Street, and then this would be the view from Jersey Ave, looking across the street. You can see even there how we're staggering the bulkhead, which is really for two reasons. One, it's to help with the sight lines, but also we have renderings in the next slide. You'll see, because it is visible, we're trying to blend it in with the context, the neighborhood. So here is a map showing you different viewpoints, and we've rendered it and added it into. And so, again, this isn't directly across. It's not visible for those. Actually, number 2 in the middle, you can see that's directly across the street and you don't see it. But from these other, you do get a small glimpse. But we are proposing a red stucco that would be color matched to the existing brick. And then because of the staggered rooftop, we're trying to mimic the kind of staggering of the townhouses there, so it doesn't look totally straight and clean and too contemporary. We're really trying to blend that in. The other thing I'll point out is on the railing, we are proposing that it would be similar to the railing. Let me scroll back up. That is on the back deck. So you'll see there is an existing porch. It's just a really simple metal railing painted black. So we really are trying to get that to disappear when you're looking up. And so that is everything on the roof deck. And then the other two items that actually here's a section just so you get a sense of how it sits on the building. The other two items are the entry doors, as well as the door on the rooftop, and then the entry lights, or excuse me, the exterior lighting. We have the tax photo of the front facade. We don't have it of the back facade, but in this you can see, as best we can tell, it looks like there's a panel above across the entire double doors, and then in the doors there's 3 panels. We're assuming is probably glass at the top, glass kind of at your viewing height, and then a solid panel below. And so we've used that to for our proposed custom door here. The door on the right is for color reference. We are proposing that it would be of a natural wood stain there. For the rear, we don't have a photo of that. This is, you see the existing is there, and so we're kind of fusing or blending what is there with the tax photo in the front. So those doors have that commonality between those. And then at the top, our really main purpose is that we want to try to get as much light as we can down into the apartment. And so just keeping it the wood grain and simple, and you really don't see that hardly at all from any view. And then the light, there's 3 locations for the light. You'll see the one over the existing door. We're proposing to remove that and just do a recess fixture that shines down. There's no exterior sconces on the front. We are proposing one. You see the 2 gray boxes right here. There is one going on the rear facade by the rear entry. And then on the new bulkhead, there's 2 on either side of the door there. And I think that is it.
Are there any questions from any commissioners?
Do the renderings showing the different views of the bulkhead, do those depict where it would be most visible? For example, catty corner?
Correct. So catty corner directly, so if you were right here, you'll see that all of these, you really have to step back. But when you're right across the street, or even right here, you really don't get a view of it all. We were trying to give you a sense of how you have to get away from it to actually catch a glimpse of this addition. You do see on the back, probably the place that you see it closest when you're the closest is on the back, and that's because the parapet doesn't extend across that back rear facade there. Originally, there were 2 other buildings on this lot in the back, but those have long since been taken down, so it leaves this back a little bit more exposed. But on the main streets, we were really trying to blend it in with the context, so it doesn't dominate the skyline up there.
Could you just zoom in a little bit on numbers 5 and 6?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Whoop. And that's really, it's sort of a function of 2 things. It is, you don't have the parapet back here, but you also, because the way the roof is sloping, the deck, if I go to this section, you'll see the deck has to be actually elevated there. Wait, where's this section? We're back one more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The deck is elevated back here, so there's really two pieces to that.
So what is it that I'm looking at in the rendering when I see those black lines?
It's probably the power lines, if that's what you're asking, but you can point
No,
out.
the structure up there.
Oh, the structure. Oh, here, this would be the skirting of the elevated. It's on a pedestal system, so which is what I was showing you in the section.
And above that, is that the rail?
Yes. So let me show you in one of these plans. Yeah. So if I zoom in here, this is essentially a wood skirting. It's made to look like wood skirting, and I can show you that at the bottom. And then this is the railing above that. So the kind of, it's really a light gray is what you see here, and then the rail is the black above.
Did you consider to reduce the visibility of the railing rather than doing it vertically like that? Maybe some sort of horizontal cable or something?
The problem with the horizontal cable up here is it's a climbing hazard with kids, and so the vertical prevents that issue. And being on the rooftop, that was a big concern.
I mean, it is, from those vantage points, it does look quite visible.
You see from the back, it is as I was pointing out, that's definitely the angle you see it the most.
Well, I think one of the positives is that it's the rear facade. We're not seeing it over the front.
Yeah.
My question actually was, and I was looking at the set that I think we got, and there was originally, I think, an option A and an option B, and option A was a red stucco to match the brick, and then option B was a black corrugated metal panel. So now it's
Yep.
just the red stucco then?
We have the red stucco now. We were open to doing the black metal corrugated. We sort of felt like in discussing it, probably blending it in made more sense. There's also the approach of, not trying to argue with what it is and make it a more contemporary piece up there and let it be its thing. So that was our thinking initially, was, to have those two options to look through.
Okay. And that's something I was maybe going to suggest, was maybe not black as a finish, but I think a metal panel might allow it to be a little bit more contemporary and actually differentiate itself from the building below. So I think I wouldn't go with the black finish. I think maybe something a little lighter gray or something like that. But we can see what other commissioners think as well. I think that'll make it less visible. The other question that I had, and maybe you can just go back to the section, I think it is where it might show it best. So there's the elevator up, and is there going to be any elevator override required? And is the elevator servicing the roof deck, correct?
Yeah, correct. It services, it's primarily for the upper duplex. So you have access to it on the parlor level, the basement, which is shared, and then the duplex, including the roof.
And so there's that's accurate. There won't be necessarily any overrun or equipment above the elevator.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that in the past where elevators have been approved and then there's all this equipment on top.
What you're seeing here is the specifications, the exact specifications from the elevator manufacturer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I'm okay with the visibility here, but I think we should maybe try to reduce the visibility a little bit. So my question is, there's a lot of head height there. We're right above where where you see the bulkhead. My question is, can the front of the bulkhead, I suppose that's the eastern half of the bulkhead, be slanted? You can still put a skylight in there. To the whatever the minimum would be for head height. I don't know if 6'8" is showing that.
Yeah, if you see this line here, that is the 6'8" line, and if you carry that up, it just catches. I mean, we've tried to. We could certainly slant this more.
Yeah,
and I think if we were going the route of making it feel more contemporary, that would probably could make sense. I think the rear facade is the facade that Commissioner Gordon was most concerned about, and that one we're really kind of at our limitations in terms of head height. We've tried to keep it. We're required to have 8 foot on the landing, so there's really not a lot we can do about reducing this, but we certainly could reduce this front one if we were going for something more contemporary.
Okay. Yeah, I think and it might not. Yeah, you might have to, it might not be right at that line, and
Sure.
You might need more head height where you have the landing, but I think at least trying to slant as much towards the front of the building, and that would cut down probably on views from Jersey Avenue looking south or the opposite way, at least a little bit.
It would definitely from the main.
Yeah.
So this is Jersey Avenue. This is a little bit further up. You see, so that's down at number 1. It would reduce it, but again, if we were to make this much more sloped, it is going to feel more like this other thing up there, other than part of the original.
Yeah, and I think letting it be a bulkhead and having
Yep.
it read as a bulkhead is okay with me. Otherwise, I think this is pretty good. The doors are nice, and I have heard that about the railing too. I know we used to maybe we're not require it, but we used to approve that a lot, those cable railings. But I have heard that as a concern for children climbing over them because of their horizontal nature. So I can I can validate that I've heard that before.
And from a staff perspective, we almost never see them anymore. Not necessarily for that, but even on interiors, when people would do like the pipe railings inside, it really has switched to the vertical rails rather than the horizontal. I mean, I always wondered why, because I know how I was as a kid and I would have been climbing over them. So sure.
They do also match. You can actually see the existing deck here in the backyard because this back facade, you can't see from this angle, but we were trying to be consistent between the two as well. So.
So I don't really take issue with the rear facade, but I was looking at elevation drawing number 6, or not drawing, but photograph number 6. And to me, it reads more with the vertical. It reads more like part of the fire escape. Clearly I'm looking at that now and I'm examining it, but if I'm walking down the street and I tilt my head up, it's going to read like part of the fire escape to me.
Right.
And it's a rear facade. We've allowed minimally visible, elements on rooftops before in rear facade. So I'm okay with that. Are you going to do anything with the fire escape? You're leaving it on there, or is it coming off?
Well, as you said that, I was hoping I wouldn't have to say it, but we are planning to take it down.
Okay.
The fire escape, yeah, and have run that through the fire department and everything, and
okay, well,
yeah, but we thought the same thing. That's why I actually didn't say that, because I knew we were planning to.
But even
remove
so, it reads like a fire escape,
Right.
which is very,
See those around the
generically
neighborhood.
throughout. Yeah, it's something that we see throughout the historic district on rear facades. So, in a quick glance as you're walking down 7th Street, you kind of feel like it's got that same language.
Is there a photo of the railing, what that will look like?
Yeah, so that is, let's see. I think we had it. So here is both a drawing as well as, so this is the photo of the existing deck in the back. And then here is our drawing of what it will look like on the roof.
Is the new railing meant to mimic
Yeah,
the dimensions? Okay.
correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll clean this up, and this will get painted and clean everything up, but yes, that's correct.
Okay. Any other questions from commissioners? Anything you want to close your testimony with?
I think we're good.
All right. That moves us to public comment. If there are any members of the public present who would like to speak regarding this application, you can approach the mic. Staff sees no members of the public present and recommends a motion to open and close public comment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Similarly to the last one, I cannot put this on the screen, but if we flip to staff recommendations and comments, we came to the same conclusion as staff, and it seems that all of you have come to as well. This is a standard roof deck application. It does have more visibility than we typically see. However, there's really no way to do this without there being something visible here, and it is predominantly visible from the rear, which is something that the commission has felt comfortable approving before in the past. The most recent example I can think of was the roof deck that we did last year, maybe it was the year before, at 289 Varick Street, where it was visible from the rear. You could see almost the entire back of the bulkhead. And that was considered appropriate and not an adverse effect there. We feel similarly about this here. And we really have no comments regarding the doors because both seem appropriate. So we do recommend that you approve this application with conditions. We have our 2 standard roof deck conditions, which is that the lighting on the roof decks need to be downcast and that no added components of the roof deck, so umbrellas, vegetation, things like that, should be visible from the public right-of-way. We understand that the back is going to be, you're going to see stuff on the back, but just don't put a tree in the front of the roof deck that you can then see over the front of the building. It's really where this is going. Other than that, everything else is a standard condition. Are there any questions for staff?
I didn't hear anything about any new electrical. I know the applicant stated he's going to put a light on the back.
Yeah, that was on the back. And that
My only-
fixture that they have proposed is downcast.
Yeah, but I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is additional conduits, surface mounted or anything like that. I'd like to see those buried or,
Yeah.
and, you know, it looks like you're treating it as it should be treated. And, you know, it looks like the back of this building in previous incarnations is, you know, and I know this from my own buildings, that telecom and everybody else is just throwing cables up everywhere.
Right.
So if you could police that as well would be good, I think, here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And was there any thought on, for staff or other commissioners, on the material and finish of the bulkhead? The red stucco was proposed. I think maybe a metal would be better, and not necessarily a black finish, but a lighter finish. And I do think that at least the front of the slope of the roof should correspond to the stair, and that would help cut down on the visibility. But
From a staff perspective, definitely slanting it in the front, on board for that. I am personally agnostic on the material change. What they have proposed is fine. I agree with you that a metal panel, I actually go a slightly different way with the metal panel, and not that I think it'll read as more modern. I actually think it'll read as more utilitarian and just something that exists naturally on top of a roof rather than as a bulkhead. So I think either way, it's not going to have an adverse impact. It's simply if that's something that you guys would like to see changed.
If the applicant doesn't mind changing it to metal, I think it's probably more of the vernacular of what we would see in buildings, as opposed to stucco as a rooftop appurtenance.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. And Brian, I know you had suggested a lighter gray or a gray metal. Do you want to?
I don't think I want to
put that to staff.
Yeah, I'll leave that to staff. I don't want to tie them to a certain color. That was just a suggestion. I think a black is going to be too visible, though. But I think generally maybe a lighter color. But you can work with staff on that.
Okay. All right. So we have changed the conditions that we would be adding to this to change the red stucco to metal panels at the bulkhead. Applicant to work with staff on that. To slant the bulkhead on the front side to reduce visibility. We're also going to add a work with staff on that just to make sure that we get the clearance that we need to. And then to remove additional unnecessary conduits at the rear facade.
Before we vote on this, I know we had a whole conversation about the rail and how it reads a bit like a fire escape, but is there, Maggie, anything that you think we could do to reduce the rail's visibility further? Maybe a color change to make it blend in with the bulkhead?
I'm going to be honest with you. In my experience, the rendering visibility specifically for railings is almost always way more visible than they are in real life. I am not concerned about this being particularly visible. If the applicant wanted to make a change to match it because they wanted the bulkhead material and the railing to match, that's certainly something we could do at the staff level. I really don't think this railing is going to be particularly visible at the end of the day. I actually think you're going to see that pedestal system more than you actually see the railing. And again, I think the visibility of this kind of falls under things that all of us will notice because we know it's there. And that the standard person viewing this from the public right of way, their eyes just going to continue to go up and over, and it's not going to register as a modern intrusion.
I can live with that.
Okay.
So then I would defer to the applicant if they wanted to go with another color choice.
And that's something we would handle as a deviation if that came up at the staff level. Okay. All right. So again, for the record, we have the conditions in the staff report and the 3 additional conditions as read into the record.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve with those conditions.
Second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Commissioner Blazak?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Amatuzzo?
Aye.
Commissioner Sandkamp?
Aye.
and Chairman Gordon.
Aye.
All right, there are 6 in favor, none against, no abstentions. The COA with conditions is approved.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
I will follow up in an email with next steps.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to call case H24-22. Applicant is Kristen Hopkins Clegg, owner. The address is 356.5 8th Street in the Hamilton Park Historic District. This application is for a certificate of appropriateness for installation of front facade windows and the construction of a full-height rear addition at an altered, contributing vernacular Italianate frame row house constructed in 1875.
Would you raise your right hand, please, sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, and if you could state and spell your full name for the record.
Kristen Hopkins Clegg, so it's Kristin, Hopkins HOPKINS hyphen Clegg CLEGG.
And while Kristen's setting up, I do just want to make a note on the agenda. This should have read that they're adding a rear addition that reaches the full height of the building. There's already an existing addition that they're adding on to. So that's how the agenda should have read. It just didn't happen for me. All right. And I also note that Kristen has presented in front of this commission before and has been previously qualified as an expert in architecture. You are welcome to start whenever you're ready.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'll start with the front facade. Well, really I should start with the back because that's what what I'm here for. So currently the back, this is the view of the back. As Maggie said, we already have a kind of a 2-story addition there. The top floor does not have a bathroom, so we're adding a black bathroom to that floor. So let me just go, here's the block plan. So there is a 1-story garage over on Brunswick, but we're pretty far in, and everyone else kind of goes past us. We have like larger buildings along the Brunswick side of the block. So our structure is right here, and our neighboring buildings are out almost as far or as far, and then they also have additional decks. So what I'm proposing, you can see to the left here is the existing back condition. We're just adding onto that on top. We're keeping with the double hung because that's just part of the historic style of that back home. Although people have not really taken care of this house over the years. And then we are adding casements. This is actually already an existing window, but because we're adding another downspout from that top roof, we have to make them a little bit narrower, and the 18-inch casement fits better within the structure. So those that are inset that you can't see really from anywhere are our casement, and then the outside are Marvin Elevate casement. Sorry, double hung. And then let me pull up. And then right now it's all vinyl siding back there, but we are proposing to do a composite siding where the addition is, and anything that needs to be replaced during the construction, which will probably be the entire back facade on that upper part. But and I'm proposing a gray slate, which it looks much darker here, but it's actually much closer to the existing color of the house. And then on the front facade, the upstairs windows on the front are they're old vinyl windows, and they're starting to have condensation in it. So while we have a contractor there, we're hoping to do the Marvin Wood Ultimate and matching our neighbors. Let me show you the historic photo really quick. So the historic photo does not show any divisions, but as you can see, the other neighbors have the 2/2, and it seems to be in line with most of the neighbors. So I'm suggesting that just because we're kind of in a 3, I think it makes sense historically, and that is the scope of our work.
Does anyone have any questions?
My only question is, like, is the composite siding like a cementitious fiber board, or what exactly is it?
Right. So I'm getting pricing. So most likely would be like the hardy plank, the smooth, not the stuff that makes it look like some kind of fine cedar. Yeah. But I'm also pricing out some other, but they're all composite, not vinyl.
Okay.
Well, kind of on that note, and also just based on the comment about the color choice not matching what we would necessarily see on the screen, I thought one of the chief advantages of coming back into the building was that we would get, sample boards and things. So,
Oh, I have a color sample. It's just the cedar type. If you want to see it, I do have a sample.
I will actually take responsibility for that because I did not remind Kristen to do it, and it honestly, in my head, I was like, yeah, composite siding. We don't need a sample of composite siding. We do composite siding all the time. But if you would, one of the conditions is that they do have to submit material samples. So I will vet it in person if it's something other than our most commonly seen hardy plank.
sometimes though, it's also nice to see color swatches, especially like when we're specifically being told that what we're seeing on the screen doesn't match the reality. It would be helpful.
I do have one in my bag if you would like.
I would like to take a look.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are correct. I'm actively reminding applicants to bring stuff back in person. We also, again, I will take responsibility for this too. Kristen was I had her on the May meeting and I moved her up because we had time. So,
So this is the color, but not the texture.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pass it down there. It'll be a smooth finish then.
Yeah, I think that fits the style.
Yeah, sure.
Come.
any other commissioners have any questions? Okay, hearing none. Anything you want to say to close your testimony?
No, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next is open public comment. Staff sees no members of the public present and recommends a motion to open and close public comment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll move into staff comments. This is as straightforward as a rear addition can get. Just so the commission is aware, the thing that is triggering the appearance at the commission tonight is that the addition reaches the full height. Even though it is an addition on top of an addition, they're only adding one story, but it does reach the full height, which is why they need to be here. From what we can tell, there's going to be no adverse effect for this. They are not increasing their footprint. It matches the size of the additions on the row. And we recommend the approval of this with standard conditions. Just because we were talking about windows earlier, this is an example of replacement windows on the 1938 tax card. A 2/2 window on this building during the date of construction would have been what was installed. What's on the tax card at the time the tax card photo was taken, this building was somewhere around 70 years old. So those are likely newer replacement windows in this. So following the rest of the row, totally fine in this case. And if no one has any questions for staff, again, the recommendation is to approve with conditions.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions as read by staff.
Second.
Okay. Brian and Dan. Commissioner Blazak.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Amatuzzo.
Aye.
Commissioner Sandkamp.
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis.
Aye.
And Chairman Gordon.
Aye.
Right, there are 6 votes in favor, none against, no abstentions. The COA with conditions is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I do need, just before we move on to the next items on the agenda, I do just need to go grab the dongle from over there so I can plug in and present for demos.
Okay.
Can we take 5 minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, so if we are going to take a 5-minute break, it is 7:36. It's 7:36, so we're going to take a 4-minute break, and we're going to come back at 7:40. Record on that. Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know who I was waiting on. All right. It is 7:34. So if we want to.
Yep, I'll call this meeting back to order, and we'll move to demolition review.
I had to do tabled cases quick.
Oh,
I forgot. I forgot about tabled cases. So update on table cases. French American Academy got their official submit something or you're being dismissed. I, honest to God, off the top of my head, I do not remember if I told them they need to give me something by April 15th or if they need to give me something by May 1st. Either way, I have not heard back from them, so my assumption is that I will not hear back from them. Actually, that's a lie. I did hear back from one of the architects that was associated with that project, and he said he's no longer involved. So I'm assuming when time comes, we will be able to dismiss without prejudice, and we will have no old tabled cases for the first time in decades, maybe. Yeah, well, not yet. They have some more time.
That's if we take action on Temple Bethel.
Well, yeah. I meant like no really old tabled cases, right? We've had something lingering on the agenda that was at least 2 years old the entire time that I've worked here. Mm-hmm. So that being said, that brings us to the next two. Temple Bethel, as you all know, did request a special meeting. We are going to be able to accommodate that request on March 26th. So this unspecified meeting date will actually be March 26th. So hopefully we will be able to take action on those then. All right, that brings us to demolition review. So it's been a bit since we have done these applications, so I will just remind all of you, we do offer the applicant the ability to appear at the HPC meeting. They don't necessarily have to. The applicants in this case chose not to appear this evening. So I will just present the materials submitted to staff and the recommendation the recommendation on the significance of the building, and then you guys will take action in the form of a resolution stating if you agree with our recommendation to deny the demo or disagree with our recommendation and recommend the zoning officer approve the demo. Okay, so we do have two on this evening. I, just for the record, will never structure a carried demo review like this again. It reads very strangely, and I think it's more confusing. But so we will be reviewing both this evening. The first is 124 Broadway. So just to locate everyone as to where 124 Broadway is, it's the red marker here. This building is set back significantly on Broadway, right across from Wright Ave, just by where you get on the Whit Penn Bridge. So it's kind of tucked back there. This is the survey that the applicant submitted. Again, you can see it is set back a considerable distance from the street. Nope, that is not what I want. I want the photo. And this is the photo that the applicant submitted of this building. You can see it's relatively intact comparatively to their 1938. And in our report, we actually do, we go through our surveys, and it is in the Phase 1 survey. It's identified as a former factory building. It was listed as recommended for Phase 2 in that survey. And the building appears to be intact from that survey to now. There have been relatively minimal changes, and if there have been changes, we really can't tell. So the recommendation for this building is to deny a demolition permit, and we hope that the applicant will come back and likely develop the property with probably two principal structures on it. So they have all that space in the front. The property is developable, just without the demolition of this building. Are there any questions from commissioners? I'll put up the photo again. All right. So hearing none, Jonathan, remind me how we're phrasing this again.
So you just need to make. So the law just requires. Did that help? I sound the
No,
same.
the light should be on.
The light is on.
Okay, then you're fine.
I'll just project.
You don't, yeah.
So the law just requires that you make a written recommendation to the zoning official. So I don't know if you recall, but in the previous meeting when we did this, we did 2 votes to vote to make a resolution and then a vote for the resolution. And Maggie and I were discussing, and so it would just be streamlined, I think, if you just make a motion to memorialize your recommendation either to grant or deny, and then you can vote on that, and then Maggie will memorialize that board action and forward it to the zoning official, the zoning officer.
So this way we're not voting on it twice, but it's still captured in the way that is required by the MLUL.
Brilliant.
It is required by the
MLUL. Okay.
Did we see, I was just curious, the tax photo?
I was about to ask the same thing. I don't think we did.
It's brick. It used to be painted blue.
I neglected to upload the tax photo. But let me see. Hold on. I don't think I'm going to be able to log into Teams to see it, but we're going to try.
While she does that, I will say it's just important that you put the reasons for your decision on the record so that we have something to look back and say, this is what the commission considered for their recommendation.
And can that be something as simply as we agree with the findings of the memo?
I believe so, as long as you
Yeah.
state the findings in the memo.
Okay.
Just to show that it's not arbitrary and capricious, that you've reviewed the application and you understand what you're saying.
Right. So just to be clear, I have the resolutions prepped. Would we just be crossing out the word resolution and replacing it with action? Or?
I'm not sure if the word that you call it matters so much as the process.
Okay.
So if resolution works for you,
Yeah, yeah.
it just needs to be a written recommendation, whatever we call it.
Okay. Got it.
And while we're refreshing our recollection, so the standard is whether it has historic integrity?
Yeah. So in this particular case, I will pull up the memo. So the law requires us to review if it's in our master plan element, if it is in any of the surveys that the city has done, and if it has historic integrity, so integrity of location, setting, design, workmanship, materials, feeling, association. That took me a minute. In this particular case, it is on the phase 1 survey. At this moment in time, it is not in the master plan element. However, in the revised element that you are going to get, it is in there. So it will be in the master plan as soon as that is adopted. And in the memo, we specifically outline that the building appears to have integrity of design, materials, workmanship, feeling, and association. I would actually expand this to include location as well. This building has not been moved. I would also say that it has some integrity of setting. Obviously, the area around it has been developed, but it does maintain its setting within the lot itself being far back. Okay. I don't know if Teams is going to load for us. And that would be where the tax card photo lives.
For the record, they only added that stucco facade recently.
Mm-hmm.
It was brick, painted blue and white.
All right. Yep, and it's not here. So that is my error. Do we want to move on to the next one and see if Teams will load? Or do we, do any of you feel comfortable taking action? I can also see if it'll load on my phone. I think it's just an internet problem, not a Teams problem. Hold on. It's not loading here either. Okay, it is a Teams problem. Okay. Would you guys like to take action on it? Do you want to carry it till the next meeting for 1938?
I'd like to take action.
Yeah, I'd like to take action.
Okay. All right, so
I think we can see from this photograph, the existing photograph, that it has all the elements that we need to be able to make a determination.
okay.
I mean, we know it has site and setting, but it's also got a lot of original,
Right.
material on its facade.
Procedurally, is the memo or report that we receive, is that evidence itself?
Yes. So like that's submitted for your review.
So we don't have to defer to it, but we can rely on it.
Yes.
In lieu of not, because we don't at this moment have the tax photo, but we can rely on that evidence in its absence. Okay. Because then I think
Because
we're
the
on
memo
firm
does
footing.
reference the tax photo, and
Right.
the tax photo was consulted at the time of the preparation of the memo.
I mean, even if we had the tax photo, there's limits to what you can make out in these photos, and I think the memo or report describes it in much more detail.
Okay. Yes, I would agree. For the same reason also too that the survey is referenced in there, but I'm not like carrying around the binder from the survey. Okay.
So the motion is to deny the application?
The motion
Or
is
approve or deny?
so the motion is to recommend to the zoning officer to deny the demolition.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the zoning officer that we deny the application.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Cronin,
Aye.
Commissioner Amatuzzo,
Aye.
Commissioner Sandcamp,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Blazak,
Aye.
and Chairman Gordon.
Aye.
Okay, there are 6 votes in favor, none against, no abstentions. The recommendation to the zoning officer to deny the demolition permit for 124 Broadway is approved. Okay. That means we can move on to 205. We discussed this when it went on in January. It's not 12th Street, it's 15th Street. But the block and lot referenced are accurate, so it's okay on the agenda. All right, so 205 15th Street. This is just north of the Holland Tunnel, in between Grove Street and Erie Street. On their survey, they actually have a lovely little location map, so you can see it's on this black box here. And this is the survey that they submitted. It is, I believe, lot 5. It is lot 5, right? So it's the one just in the center here. It is a full coverage brick building. The photo that they submitted is admittedly not great, so I did pull it up on Street View on Google Maps for all of you to see. So it is this building. If it would not be blurry, that'd be lovely, but oh, there we go. There are additional resources on either side of it as well. And in our review of this building was also identified in the Phase 1 survey as a eligible resource within the eligible St. Lucy's Historic District. So this property is directly surrounding St. Lucy's. That was identified as an eligible historic district. It is not a historic district that the city is interested in designating, but this would be an eligible resource within that district. So it is identified really just as a vernacular, they call it a coach house stable in here, that had some alterations when cars became more popular in the early 1910s. Had some alterations to accommodate cars after its construction in the 1910s. It does appear to have integrity of design, materials, workmanship, feeling, and location. So we do recommend that the demo permit be denied. We have also been in touch with the applicant for this, and the applicant does intend to incorporate this into a development at the site. That's kind of why it was carried on the agenda for a bit, but they have solidified their plan, have confirmed that they will be able to incorporate it into a future development. So we're okay. They were okay with us proceeding tonight.
Was this the one where they wanted to come and they were excited to show us what they were going to do?
Yep.
Okay.
But they were kind of at the point where they wanted action on their demolition permit. But we're also not in a place where plans were going to be ready anytime soon. So I recommended to them to just proceed with the demo permit. And if they ever wanted to do a courtesy presentation to the HPC, they are certainly more than welcome to.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions?
Could you just bring that memo back up? I just wanted to see what it does. It note like what it still has in terms of the site setting, a feeling association.
Yes.
Okay, I see it down there.
Yep.
Integrity of design, materials, and workmanship, feeling or association. So
It should say and
association.
That's me with my classic typos. And it also, that paragraph also details what is intact, appears to be intact on the building versus what has been altered. So we can guide the applicant as to what needs to be restored on the building as well. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? If not, the recommendation is for a motion to be made to, I don't know why I can't remember what the motion is supposed to be.
To the zoning officer.
Yeah,
Yes.
recommend denial to the zoning officer.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to recommend to the zoning officer to deny this demolition application.
Second.
Second.
I have Paul. All right. Roll call vote. Commissioner Amatuzzo?
Aye.
Commissioner Sankamp?
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Commissioner Blazak?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
And Chairman Gordon?
Did we see the tax photo on this?
I know I've
Same
got it
thing?
up.
Okay. Aye.
I promise I will make sure they're there in the future. This was
Okay.
a little chaotic for this meeting. All right. There are 6 votes in favor, none against, no abstentions. The recommendation passes. Okay.
Just for our knowledge of the future, in case there's ever some sort of split vote or something, how many is needed to approve? Is that a simple majority, right?
Simple
Okay.
majority, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that being said, no resolutions to do, no executive session needed, so that just leaves us with adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, it is 8 o'clock on the dot. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.